Okay, so let me jump back over here, see who we got. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Okay, so let's see who we have over here. More people are jumping over. I'm still not seeing if anybody knows Connor, Medley, or Drew. Dominic's not in here. Is Ellie in here? Ellie, you're here. Ethan Whalen. Ethan, you are here now. Okay, more people are showing up. Okay, while we're waiting, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I learned last night at a webinar. I've had to listen to so many Zoom meetings and crap the past month. It's been unbelievable. But this one was really pretty good. They talked to us a whole lot about what your test is going to look like in May. And I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. I don't know what's going to happen. We just had a meeting with Mr. Adams at the board just right before this class started. And we don't know what's going to happen, if we're going to be in school until May 19th, or if we're going to be able to go back, or if they're going to say May 1st is the last day and school's done May 1st. The deal is, whatever they say, I'm still going to keep teaching AP, because no matter what, even if school closes, you're still going to have an AP test. So I know once school's closes, school is closed. But if you want to pass this test, I'm rolling on until May 12th or 14th, whichever one of your guys is. And I'm going to tell you this: if you pass the test, I'm going to get your results back pretty quickly after you take it in May. If you pass the test, you will get an A for the fourth 9 weeks. So if you make a 3, a 4, or 5, they'll all be A's. No matter what you have in the class right now, you will have an A at the end. So that's a little thing that I just wanted to put out there for you guys to maybe make you like the idea of taking the test a little bit more. Your test, again, is 2 questions, and you have to take care of your own time. The first question is 60% of your grade. It's actually 30 minutes. They say it's 25 minutes and a 5-minute upload time. So you just have to get it uploading before that 30 minutes is up. Now, what I did like is they said as long as you are uploading before the 30 minutes is up, then even if it's uploading in the background, you'll start the second one, but they'll accept it. You have to have it loading beforehand. So they're going to do a lot of practice stuff. The closer it gets, they're going to have more practice ways for you to check like your connectivity and stuff like that, and how your internet's working with them. So as it gets closer, we'll have some practice upload stuff. But I really like that thought that even if it's not done in that 30 minutes uploading, as long as you've started it, they're going to take it. Now, our start time, I can't remember if it was 11 or 2. I don't have it in front of me. But whatever our start time is, that's when it starts. So say if we're starting at 11 a.m. and you get on at 11:10 a.m., you've lost 10 minutes. So you have to be on there when it starts. They do suggest that you get on there 15 to 30 minutes beforehand, because you're going to have to do some clerical stuff first about it. And they are losing their minds about cheaters. I mean, they are going crazy, and they wanted us to just stress over and over and over again. Just like, what's that one movie? It's got Liam Neeson in it, I Will Find You. They're saying that they've already caught one kid a physics kid trying to cheat. And they're going to report it to all the schools across the country that you're a cheater if they catch you. So please just don't. They also said that the test is not designed to be finished. You will not get done. You can still make a 5 and not finish the test. Okay, so just keep that in mind too. What else? That's really about all they have right now. It is one upload. You know how like on AP Classroom, I showed it where you had like upload part A, upload part B, upload part C separately. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be one upload. And you can either type it, but I think most of you guys are going to handwrite it. I would handwrite it if it were me. And then take the picture and send it. So if it were me, I'd have it up on my desktop at my house. I'd take a picture of it with my phone. Okay, thanks, Zach. I'd take a picture of it from my phone, and then I would upload it to my desktop and send it. That's how I would do it, because I don't think you could take a good picture with your desktop or with your Chromebook. It's always hard to take those kind of pictures. And you have to make sure you write dark and it's clear for them to see. Okay, so Zach just told me 2 p.m. So you said? Yeah, 2 p.m. Okay, so it's a 2 p.m. test, and That's just some of the stuff they told me. So as you have questions, or if you have questions, please email me. Please email me now if you don't feel like the Chromebook's going to do well for you, because if the Chromebook doesn't do well for you, AP has already said that they will provide you a laptop. So there's information here about it. All I did was I typed in AP Classroom or AP student laptop. It'll be shipped directly to your house. Use it for the AP exam and keep it afterwards. I don't know how good of a laptop it is, but there is that there. Don't not take advantage of that if you feel like you truly need it. Now, if you already have a really good laptop, a good desktop, stuff like that, don't get it. But if it's something that you need, that you know you would need later, go ahead and take advantage of that thing that you could use there. So, questions for me about the test so far?
You said we could take it on our Chromebooks.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to take it on your Chromebooks. Oh, one thing they did say that I liked, if you have a printer, you can actually print it out. Now, I don't know how long it would take to print it out. If it were me, I like writing on the test. And that, to me, was one of my biggest concerns about it being online. It's like I have a printer here at my house. I would start printing it as soon as it came up, but I'd be working on another piece of paper, then transferring it over. But you can actually print a copy of the test off, which I thought was nice. Other questions for me?
What do you mean about like you can still get a 5 without finishing the test?
That's what they said. They said that to us last night. They said they designed the test, so you're going to be, and what they really say, they say you've got to watch your own time. At 25 minutes, you stop and you start uploading it.
Okay.
But they're saying that you won't have time to get it all the way done.
Okay.
So don't let that freak you out. Kind of like, with the ACT, you have a minute left and you start just doing C's for everything. If you leave part of it blank, they said that you could still get a 5 on it, even with parts blank, which I was surprised at that myself.
Okay.
Other ones for me?
If we get it all right, can we get a 6?
No, 5's the high as it goes. I know. Tough times, ain't it? But 1 to 5 is it's the same scoring stuff, and I will get all of your papers back. This is the first. Usually, I don't ever get to see what you all do on tests. So you're the first class that I'll be able to see your tests. And like I said, from that, if you're not doing great in the class, but you got 3, 4, or 5 on the test, whatever grade you have in here will be changed to an A. So I know a lot of you already have A's, but that's just a thought to keep in mind. If there's no other questions, I'm going to talk to you about a couple other things about the test. Don't hesitate to text me. Don't hesitate to email me. If you need anything, have questions about any of it, more and more stuff's going to be coming out. As I learn stuff, I'll for sure tell it to you guys. Okay, this is Wednesday. You had your first review. These FRQs due on Google Classroom. I was pretty happy with the response. Most of you got them done. I'm going to go ahead over here and return what I have. I've graded them. 20 of you turned them in. 3 of you all did not. Let me see how I do this. I'm just going to return them all to you so you all can all see what you did on it. So 20 of the 24 of you in second period did it. This is taking forever. Okay, and then fourth period. I don't know that has many turned it in fourth period. Oh, I did 13 out of. So turned in. Okay. So that being said, this right here is the homework. I'm going to go over it fairly quickly. You tell me if you need me to slow down. I will. I put some comments on yours. Just be aware that I'm just trying to help you guys do the best you can on this test. Another thing they did tell us, which kind of bummed me out, they said there will be no drawing on the test. So like this slope field right here, you're not going to have a slope field on your test. They said they're going to make it to where if you wanted to, you could totally type it. And I don't see any way in the world that you could totally type a calculus answers. But that's what they said. So I'm going to go ahead and do the slope field real quick, even though I know it now. After last night, I know it's not going to be on there. Oh, my little guy's not working. Oh, great. Now I've lost my pen. Okay, so here, this is going to be a blast. Okay, so here is our differential equation. All I'm going to do now is if I put a -1 into here, I get a -2. So right up here, I'm going to have, oh, let me come over here and do it. Maybe I can do it over here. Here we go. Maybe it'll work over here. Still not. All of these are going to have slopes of -2. Those look awful. So you're just guesstimating it. And all they would say right here is they would just say, come on, guy. Why are you not working for me?
You might have to use the pin at the bottom.
Pin at the bottom. Well, I was trying that. That's what wasn't working either. Let me see how it's just giving me like the little highlighter thing. Let me try it again this way. See, I can do it, but then I can't see where I'm drawing. And it's really hard to draw when you can't see where you're drawing. So I will try it though. All of these should have lines that go down, like a -2 slope. It should be steeper than that, but I can't do anything about it. Now there was just 9 of them. So now they want me to do them all of them at 1. So if I come up to my equation up here and I sub 1 in, all of these are just going to be flat lines. So maybe I can do flat lines this way. So I'm just going to have little flat lines here, here, pretend like those are flat, and there. And then if I put a 2 in, I'm going to have a slope of 1. So they're going to be going up. All of those should be the same. It's just really hard for me to do it right here. All of these should be steeper because they have a slope of -2. And then when I go to draw the B, it says draw through 1, 1. I'm going to come over here to 1, 1. I'm going to put a dot. And it's just going to kind of do something like that. Okay, so C is the stuff. C you might still have on there. We're going to see. With C, people, if it says equation of the tangent line, you do not separate your variables. I had so many people separating variables right here. You're going to say dy over dx equals, you're going to sub in your point. I'm going to have 1 minus 1. Is that what you all said? Was it 1, 1?
Yeah.
So I have a slope of 0?
Makes sense.
I mean, it also correlates with the slope field that we
Oh.
graphed earlier.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking about something. So now I'm going to have to use a point slope form.
You're on part C, not B.
Oh, thank you. I knew I was doing something wrong. It's right here. Thank you, Ethan. I'm drawing in the wrong spot. I knew that was wrong. So now my dy dx, I have to sub in the 2 minus 1. I get a 1. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say y minus 1 equals mx minus 2. I've just subbed in my point. And that, you can leave it like that if you want to. I usually go ahead and take the 1 to the other side, just so it's y equals. Now to estimate this, people, all I would do with this one, and a lot of you did it, and I was proud of you. Leave it like that. It doesn't hurt anything. If you wanted to work it all the way out, it's -0.7. But again, make sure, if we want to write the equation of the tangent line, there is nothing involved in separation of variables here. All we're doing is we're using our point slope form, and we're using the derivative to find our slope. Now down here at E, the particular solution, this one was pretty easy. We got dy over dx, but some of y'all did it way funky. Made me wonder where you found the answer. Separate the variables. Integrate both sides. And then sub in our point. So 1 equals 1/2 times 4, which is 2 squared, minus 2 plus c. C equals 1. And my final answer is y equals 1/2 x squared minus x plus 1. And also, let me caution you, when they're grading these, what they're going to look for is your separation of variables. They're going to look for you applying your initial condition to find C. They're going to look for the final answer. Try to make it, go linearly. Don't be going all over the place because you can use as much paper as you want. You're going to be uploading it. So make it to where it's easy for somebody that is just looking at it to follow. Because I had a hard time following some of your alls. My last one, on number 2, we had to go through, this is important, 0, 2. A 0, 2 graph is going to look entirely different than a 0, 3 graph. So it's just going to be something that's going to go, something along the lines of that. And everybody got that right. Now, the particular solution. Please, 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 I think I talked about it yesterday. If there is a coefficient on the front, leave it on the right. I'm going to have dy divided by y minus 4 cubed equals 1/2 x dx. That's how I'm separating those variables. Somebody multiplied it over. Make sure the math makes sense. To get rid of it from this side, you have to divide both sides by it. Now, I went ahead and made it y minus 4 negative 3. And then when I went to antiderive this, I'm going to put the 1/2 out front. You don't have to, it just makes it a little bit easier. I'm a real big believer in doing the easy side first. So I have 1/2 times 1/2 x squared. I got to have my plus c. Now over here, I have to add 1 and put that reciprocal out front. And you've always got to check the inside. Do I have to do anything to that? If I take the derivative of this, am I going to get that? Do I have to worry about the chain rule? I don't have to worry about the chain rule here. So I end up with negative 1 over 2 y minus 4 squared equals 1/4 x squared plus c. My initial condition is 1, 0. And you're not going to see me do any kind of simplifications until I get c. Right here, I'm subbing this in. If I sub a 0 in right here, I'm going to get negative 1 over 4 squared. Negative 4 squared is 16 times 2 is 32. Over here on this side, I'm going to get 1/4 times 1 squared plus c. Now, I went ahead and made this 8 over 32. To get like terms, I subtracted the 8 over 32 from both sides. And that was my c. So really, for the most part, if you've gotten to there, you got a 9 out of 10. This next part that's the harder algebra part, it's only worth 1 point. So what I'm looking at here, I've got my negative 1 over 2 y minus 4 squared equals 1/4 x squared minus 9 over 32. And this is a bear. What I do on problems like this, and I hope you think this is kind of cool mathy wise, I take this whole thing and I multiply it by the biggest denominator, making sure the smaller ones will go into it. 4 goes into 32, 2 goes into 32. So I'm going to multiply everything by 32. If I multiply both sides by the same number, I'm not changing the value of it. I'm changing how it looks. So I end up with, if I look at this, if I take half of 32, I get a negative 16 over y minus 4 quantity squared. And that's still not great, but this other side's going to look so much better. Equals 8x squared minus 9. Now, this is so much prettier. Everybody okay with that? Okay, your lack of saying anything tells me you're okay with that. What I'm going to do now, there's a couple ways I could do this. I know this is all over 1. So I have 1 term on the left, 1 term on the right. I want my y to be up top. So I'm just going to take the reciprocal of both sides. I'm going to have y minus 4 quantity squared over negative 16 equals 1 over 8x squared minus 9. Multiply both sides by negative 16. I got to get rid of the square, so I got to square root both sides. I've got to put a plus or minus. Negative 16 over 8x squared minus 9. And then to finish it up, I add 4 to both sides. But they want a particular solution. A particular solution goes with the point they gave me. So if it goes with the point they gave me, oh, I'm thinking something weird now. My point they gave me is 1, 0, right? And 0 is neither positive or negative, is it? So would I know which one to take? Somebody help me out here.
Well, because you have the +4, you have to take the negative.
That's what it is. I knew I had a reason why I was doing this. You want this to be a true statement. For this to be a true statement, if I come in here and I put 1 in for here, I'm going to get the square root of 16, and I'm going to have to get the negative of it. So I have to say y equals negative, because I knew I came up with a negative. I just had a brain fart just then. That's why I picked the negative. So I may have to go back and give you some points on some of those. And honestly, what I'm going to do, everybody that's turned it in on time, I gave you a grade. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to change those grades to 10s. Okay? Because I told you, as long as you're giving me effort, I'm giving you hundreds on these. But I want you to see how to do them correctly. Okay? So, like there was a quiz from last week. I told you if you got it done on time, I was going to give you 100. I'm going to go back in there and change those grades. I just haven't done it yet. I just want you to see what you're getting so you know like how you could fix some stuff. So this was your homework. Now, up to you guys. I've got a couple things over here. Do you all want to ask me some questions on the circuit thing? This is due tomorrow before class starts. I'll go over any of these that you would like.
Can you go over, I think it ends up being number 15.
What's the answer to it say?
The answer to it.
Just the answer up here in the corner like this.
I don't remember.
What's it look like?
It's a limit one. I know the answer was it approaches.
Well, I'm scrolling, so you holler at me and tell me to stop.
I think that one right there on the bottom left.
This one right here?
Where the answer is 2. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, so we want to know what's happening as we're coming in from the left. So, something I would think of to do first, maybe. I know I can't sub the 1 in, can I? Because if I sub the 1 in, I get a 0. So my next thing I think is, okay, maybe I could take and I could factor the denominator. But if I factor the denominator, that doesn't help me any either. So what I have to think about now is what's happening is I'm getting really close to 1 from the left-hand side. So if I'm getting really close to 1 from the left-hand side, pick a number that's really close to 1. And here's one right here that's really close to 1 coming in from this side. Throw me out a number, like a decimal.
0.976.
Let's do 0.9, okay, because I'm not that smart to go 0.976. That's a good one, though. I'm going to say the limit as x approaches 1 from the left. So I'm going to say 0.9. So I'm going to say 0.9 over 0.9 squared minus 1. So I got 0.9 over, what's that, 0.81 minus 1. What's 0.81 minus 1?
-0.19.
Negative 0.19. Okay, so you see how we're doing negative? So I would check a couple more. Then I might try 0.95. And honestly, if I had something like this on the test, I don't think they would give this to you on the test as far as a limit, because you could go right to your calculator, and we're going to investigate it using the calculator. What I just did, there it is. And you need to be thinking about, if you have any idea, what you think about what this might look like. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So as I pull it up, type it in here. But what I would do, I wish I could move that. What I would do is I would try 0.9. Then maybe try 0.99. Usually 2 of them will be enough to help you out. Let me try this again. If you have your own calculator, go ahead and just get up there and graph. Here we go. So I'm going to say y equals. Now it's going to hit zoom 6. So here's what we know what's happening. At 1, we know that we have a vertical asymptote there. And at -1, we have it at both places, but all I really care about is at 1. So I know what's going to happen here because I know I have vertical asymptote here. I know these are going to go in opposite directions. So as soon as I saw this was a negative, I might do one more by hand to prove it to myself. But as soon as I saw this was a negative, I knew I could come in here and say negative infinity because the left-hand side is going down forever.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I graphed it on the calculator, but I just wasn't sure how to like show handwritten.
Handwritten. Again, just do it here, what I did right here. As soon as I saw this, I knew at 1 and -1, I had to have vertical asymptotes. So I just had to know, was it going to be a negative number or was it going to be a positive number? Because I knew it had to go in opposite directions on either side. Other ones.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Yes.
On the cell right above it,
Yes.
this graph, I believe the answer should be 2 based on it's just approaching 1 and both of them are coming at an intersection at 2. But am I correct or not?
You're not correct because if you're coming from the left-hand side to 1, you're at 2. If you're coming in from the right-hand side, you're going up to infinity forever. So it does not exist. They have to stop. Like right here, see how they both stop? There's a limit right there, but there's no limit right here because this line right here is going up forever.
Oh, I didn't see that. I
When
thought
it's
it was a slight jump.
when it's going off the page like that, and it does, even if it's a jump, whatever it is, if your fingers do not come together, then it's not going to happen. And this finger is going to keep tracing up while this finger stops right here. That's not a stupid question. That's good. Other ones? You're welcome. This is due tomorrow at the beginning of class. Anyone? If not, I'm going to talk about one more thing, then I'll be done. I thought I'd have more questions. Okay. The last thing, and I don't have to do it right now. It's totally up to you all. This is the last FRQ that we talked about. Any questions for me? I mean, do you want me to walk through it? That's my question for you, I guess. I'll be glad to if you want me. Okay. So let's talk about this. I just don't want, I know you all have a class to, the video to watch later, and I don't want to do too much with you right now. If you don't care about this, you want to jump off, no hard feelings. I get it if you have some other stuff you need to do. Of course, what is more important than calculus, right? Oh, come on. Nobody's going to say yes. Okay. For 5A.
You're a real joker, you know that.
Yes, I know. Okay. So we have this chemical reaction. We have the function models, the amount of the substance present, and we have this differential equation. Use the line tangent. As soon as I see that, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to use this. Y minus Y1 equals M, X minus X1. I don't have to write it down. I'm just writing it down for you all underneath the words. So now we have a point. We have 0, 2. They told us at time t equals 0. Approximate, wait a minute. Using to approximate the amount of the substance ring equals 2 seconds.
At 0, there's 10 grams.
Oh, duh. Okay, about to say that's not right. That makes no sense. I was reading far enough back. Okay. So I got 0, 10. Sorry. So then my dy dx is going to be the 0.02 times 10 squared. And that's just going to be, it's negative 0.02. And that's just going to end up being negative 2. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say y minus 10 equals negative 2, x minus 0, y equals negative 2x plus 10. And then I want to approximate it at 2 seconds. So I'm just going to say y sub 2. If I put a 2 in right here, I get 6 grams. Now, this was worth 2 points. It was worth a point for getting your slope and worth a point for getting your answer. You okay with that one? Make sure you put the units if the units are there, because sometimes you get a point just for units. Okay, now for B, using the given differential equation. So we got this guy up here. Determine whether the graph of f could resemble the following graph and give a reason for your answer. The correct answer to this is it could not resemble the given graph simply because this is always negative and you have this piece right here that starts increasing. So the graph of this would always have a decreasing slope. It cannot have an increasing portion. And that's all you have to put for that. I would say no, because the given graph has a portion, has an increasing portion. And that is not possible because dy dx is always negative. Now, something along those lines. And that was worth 1 point. Now, part C. Part C is our separation of variables. Give myself some more room here. Okay, so we want to find the equation. We have an initial condition. So right here, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to separate my variables. So I'm going to say dy over y squared, and I'm leaving the negative 0.02 over here with the dt. Now, for the love of everything wonderful in this world, do not use ln. This has a power. This is the same thing as y to the negative 2 dy. If I antiderive this, I get negative y to the negative 1 equals negative 0.02t plus c. So nowhere in here will we have an ln. We end up with 1 over y, negative 1 over y, equals negative 0.02t plus c. And then I'm going to sub my point in, my 0, 10. So I'm going to have a negative 1/10 equals c. Okay, so now I've got my negative 1 over y. And notice I'm not moving anything around yet. I'm just going to sub my c in. And then I'm going to multiply everything through by negative. And now I'm going to have to figure out how I can do this. There's a couple ways you can do this problem. One thing you can do is I can come in here. 1/10 is the same thing as 0.1. Oops. And then I can take, and this is all over 1. And I can take everything and I can turn it over. Y equals 1 over 0.02t plus 0.1. And that's how I would leave it. So you would get, this was worth 4 points. You got a point for separating. You got a point for your antiderivatives. These guys right here. You got a point for your constant that you use in the initial condition, and a point for your answer. So really the main thing I'm seeing that with you all, and it's getting better, but the main thing I'm seeing is you all automatically think whenever it's a dy over something, you use ln, and that's not the case. So be careful with that. My last little piece down here, when you have to determine whether the amount of subs is changing at an increasing or a decreasing rate, you have to look for the second derivative. So our dy dx was negative, was it dy dx? Dy dt, didn't think that sounded right. So our dy dt, our original was negative 0.02. What is negative 0.02? Y squared. And now if we want to figure out whether this is increasing or decreasing, we have to look at the next derivative down. So if I take the second derivative of this, I'm going to get negative 0.04y dy dt. And don't forget, you have to do that because now you get negative 0.04y times negative 02 y squared. You don't have to do anything else with that. All you have to do here is say dy dt is increasing at an increasing rate because the second derivative is greater than 0. You don't have to find out what it is. You just have to realize these two, this is going to give me a positive number. And if you want to multiply it out, you can, but don't take the time if you don't have to. And that was worth 2 points. You got a point for getting your second derivative, and you got a point for the answer. So I talked a lot longer today than I planned on it. Thank you for sticking with me if you did. That was one thing I did forget to talk about. Your homework is on AP Classroom. And what I did, they did something kind of cool in AP Classroom. They put FRQs that they wanted you to be able to do because it would be similar to what you're going to see on the test. So a lot of what you're going to see me giving you now are these FRQs, and I don't know if you can see them or not, but they got these little special green stars by them or something, or green bullseyes or something that they have put on here after all this mess has started, wanting you to make sure. Oh, it's right here. Oh, I just lost it. Wanting you to make sure it's these guys right here. Wanting you to make sure you can do these. So I put on here for 415. I don't know if it's 1 or 2. I can't remember. There's 2 of them on here. So what I want you to do, you can upload them both here, upload them here, 1 on 1, 2 on 2, please. Okay. Any more questions for me?
Going back to that FRQ, your wording was a little different, I thought.
My word.
The rate is increasing at an increasing rate?
dy dt.
Shouldn't that be y is increasing at an increasing rate?
Well, you want to determine, yeah, you're right. This should be y is increasing. Yes, you're right. I should have changed it that way. The amount, how about that? Yeah, I double negative myself there. Let me erase it and fix it. So we'll just put here, like you just said, we'll say y is increasing. There. Thank you, Shane. Anything else? If not, I'm jumping off here. I got a video to watch here in a little bit. So I will talk to you guys later. Again, please, 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 if you need me, if you need help, if you need anything, come see me. I will help you.